So let's follow up from our video from last night. Let's talk a little bit about shorter barrels and suppressors. So a lot of people ask, what's the purpose of, a shorter barrel gun like an SBR with a suppressor? And I can tell you, a perfect example is, here's an example of a 10.5 with this silencer. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to pause this for a second, and I'm going to swap this silencer onto a gun that's got a 14.5 pin and welded, and I'm going to show you what the difference looks like. So imagine this distance, mag weld front, and I'm going to show you the exact same suppressor on a different rifle. All right, so I'm back. I swapped that. I did that because YouTube doesn't like showing anything where you do anything, right? Because it's awesome. And I do make those videos to put on YouTube. So here's what we've got. We've got, instead of a 10.5, I've got a 14.5, and this has got a pin and weld on it. So this becomes 16-inch legal with the flash hider pin and welded. And this is that exact same suppressor, but if you look, right, see the distance, right? That 10.5 to 14.5, that extra 4 inches, right? It makes the gun quite a bit longer. So why would you want to go shorter? Really, maneuverability. It's kind of unwieldy on the end. The suppressor are great. They're really good, and the louder, shorter barrels are really loud. The suppressor's really good on those. Are the suppressors quieter on longer barrels? They absolutely are. Like I have a Mini 4, a little AAC Mini 4 that could go on this gun too. And I'll be honest, on 14.5, it's still not ear safe. You need to wear ear pro with it. But if you put it on an 18-inch gun, right, an 18-inch with the flash hider adapter, right, that little Mini 4 is awesome, right? And so from 16 to 18 and even 20, that little Mini 4, which is a smaller little shorty kit, that Mini 4 is super quiet. But 14.5 like this gun, that Mini 4, you're still wearing ear pro. And you're like, okay, it's better. It's not that same blast you get when you're shooting without it, and it's better, but it helped deaden it down. This can is great. This is a M4 2000. It's a vintage M4 2000 that has been beat pretty hard demoing, and just to test run it pretty good. But on a 10.5, it runs good, but it's not ear pro safe on that. You're gonna have to wear ear pro with it with a 10.5, but it's definitely better than shooting a 10.5 without ear pro. So when people ask about that and what's the change, when we talked about the tax stamp in the video from yesterday, tax stamp for SBRs has also gone to 0. So if you're wanting to do an SBR, and the difference between an SBR and a pistol really is the fact that an AR pistol doesn't really have a stock. It should have a brace, and an AR pistol doesn't have a forward vertical grip, right? So if you're wanting to do that, and you want to go SBR, you can do a Form 4 for an SBR, or you can do a Form 1 and create your own SBR through the process. We can help you with that at Stronghold-Corp. Again, we've sold SBRs, SBSs, which are short barrel shotguns. I'll cover those in a separate video. We've been doing the NFA thing for 10 years, and we're Northeast Iowa and Eastern Iowa's dealer for NFA to help you. So if you got questions about suppressors, NFA, processing, SBRs, what the pros and cons of doing an SBR versus an AR pistol is, we'll talk you through all that. So just hit us up, look us up on the web, stronghold-corp.com for our website, or I'll put the link in the comments, and if you have questions, just let us know. Thanks.